How's it going, everybody? Welcome, Fernando, the Lonestar Halo. We got Todd, we got Bridger. We are here to talk about what's going on in San Bernardino. All that and more coming up after this.
1, 2, 3, go! From Texas to Anaheim, we're bringing the heat. Todd and Fernando got the news every week. Walk-offs, strikeouts, who's making a name? Who's in the clutch and who's taking the blame? Lone Star Halo, fucking baseball, here we go. Big hats, bad calls, who's gonna rise and who's gonna fall?
Hey, welcome into another episode of the Lonestar Halo. I am Todd Fox, the Lonestar Halo Fernando in the house, and our special guest, Bridger Holmes.
What's
How
up,
you doing
guys?
today, Bridger?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
Awesome, my man.
Great. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us and let the fans get to know you who might have missed the interview last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year. That draft camp, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right after, yeah.
So
yeah, he had no idea at the time where he was going to be going.
Yeah.
I asked you months ago if you tried Baker's yet. You still hadn't at that time. Is there an update on that?
Would you say Baker's?
Baker's, yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I think
Okay,
I'd know if
okay.
I tried it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a fast food place. It's in the Inland
Gotcha.
Empire. I like it a lot.
Okay.
I miss it a lot.
Huh.
They have that habanero spicy ketchup that's just to die for.
I got to try that for sure. No doubt.
Yeah, the next time we interview you when you're in the big leagues, you got to give us the Baker's update, man.
Okay, I will for sure.
Okay, go.
How are you liking and adjusting to San Bernardino? I mean, I'll say it. It's not the most desirable city. A lot of people know that. But how are you adjusting to it?
I don't know, you guys probably know this, but we actually live in Rancho Cucamonga, so the living part of it is a lot nicer than people think. So we just play our games there. So I would say living here is great. I mean, it's pretty nice here. Obviously, the 25-minute drive every day isn't great, but as far as San Bern goes, I mean, being in the stadium and stuff, you don't see too much of the bad side of it. But we did go on a tour a couple Fridays ago, maybe 3 Fridays ago, to the police station. And that was really cool because we got to see a lot of cool stuff there. And they told a lot of stories about some of the crazy stuff they experienced, obviously. So that was cool. But yeah, living's great. Being here is pretty fun. I mean, I wouldn't say I've had any run-ins or anything yet, and hopefully that stays the same. So
That's good. Yeah, Rancho Cucamonga is great. I love
Real
Rancho
great, yeah.
Cucamonga. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You're at the base of the mountains there. On a clear day, you have arguably the best view in Southern California if you're in Rancho
Yeah.
Cucamonga.
it's amazing. Yeah, I love it here. Yeah, and cool malls, good infrastructure. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, Bridger Holmes is a Rainforest Cafe guy. Here you go. You heard it here first. You like Ontario Mills? Is that what you're talking about?
Ontario Mills is cool. I did see the Rainforest Cafe. I went in there for the first time to Ontario Mills about a month ago. But I like Victoria Gardens. You been there?
Yes, that is a nice one.
That one's nice. Yeah, it's outdoor. It's pretty cool. Some good stores. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the questions, we got to bring it up since we're just fresh off a sweep of the Dodgers. You guys were too playing the Dodger affiliate. Give us a little bit of, what you guys experienced in that game, in that series, I should say. And do you feel a little bit more of a rivalry opposed to playing other franchises teams?
Yeah. Well, we definitely didn't sweep them, so not as fun, but it was great. Like we talked about it before we went on air, but there's definitely like a little more tension. And, you know, being in college, high school, I've played in rivalries before, and there's definitely in pro ball, you don't see as much of that, you know, being that it's professional stuff. But definitely like as far as all the series we've had so far and what I played last year, this is definitely the most probably heated, and you can feel a little bit extra tension between, you know, coaches, players, definitely fans. And I feel like it's a little more heightened, just like any other rivalry. So, and the fact that it was the same weekend as the MLB rivalry weekend, and obviously Angels Dodgers and MLB, I think that made it even better. So, and we had Teoscar playing down here yesterday, so it was pretty cool playing against him and experience all that. Pretty good crowds came out.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's always awesome when you're just starting your pro ball journey and you get to meet some of these major league guys.
Yes.
Yes. I've been very fortunate in my time to get to talk to guys like Mark Sweeney, one of the greatest pinch hitters of all time, frankly. You know, so it's really cool to pick some of the brain of these guys. And I think growing up, we idolize a lot of these guys. And maybe that's a strong word, but you get what I'm saying. You
No, for sure. Yeah.
Guys, you see them playing. You model your game after, your favorite player. You take bits and pieces, you model it, and you try to emulate that as much as you can. So when you actually get an opportunity to meet these guys and they're A, down to earth, and B, just second to, hey, I'm so-and-so, and you ask them, hey, what's it like? Any tips for me in a pressure situation? And they can break it down for you. That's always awesome. I remember talking to Mark Sweeney, and I asked him, man, what's the best tip you have for me to be more present in a moment where there's a clutch hit that needs to take place? I remember him telling me, you got to remember, and maybe you can speak to this because you are a pitcher. I know you don't want to admit it, but he told me when you're in a batter's box, the pitcher is always way more nervous than you are in a situation where bases are loaded and there's one out. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe you want to agree to that or not,
No, it's true. I mean, there's a lot more pressure on the pitcher because, I mean, a hitter can just stand there and a pitcher can throw 4 balls and he gets a free bag. I mean, it's the pressure's on you to, throw the ball in the zone, and even if you do that, he can still hit it. So, and I'd say being a pitcher in general, it's easier to get more nervous, especially as a reliever, because you're coming in, once a game, however many times a week, but it's a short burst of time. As a hitter, you're playing the whole game. I mean, the nerves kind of wear off in the first. So obviously a big AB like that, you're going to be nervous, but it's a cool thing about baseball. It's always a one-on-one chess game. I guess catcher gets involved too, but it's always a battle between the pitcher and the hitter, and who can take the bigger step in the big situation and come up big is kind of how it works.
Absolutely. We're gonna talk a little bit here as we go on about what's been your new role and how you feel about that. But I will say, when you are a closer, you have obviously most of the time you get a clean inning. Not all the time. Sometimes you get called upon to maybe get like a 4-out save or whatever. But I feel like more often than not, if you're a middle relief guy, you're gonna get put in there in probably not a clean inning. So now you have a little extra pressure automatically because maybe it's now the 7th inning. There's a runner on first and second with no outs, and they're calling upon you to get a hold. So, that's about as pressure as it gets because you don't get 100%. The opportunity to get a clean inning.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this year I've done both. If you guys want to talk about it later, we can, but of those roles. And, it's kind of – it's always, even if it's clean, you're always coming in and there's always pressure no matter what. And that's kind of something you always battle as a pitcher and as a hitter and in the game in general. Baseball is a really mental game and very focus orientated. So, whether it's a hold or a save or anything as a reliever, I think it's big. You got to be locked in when you come in those situations.
And that's what I wanted to follow up on that question with, because obviously we on this, we're very, well, at least when I do the post game shows, I'm highly skeptical sometimes of maybe the pitching coach or the manager for the night deciding that, this pitcher, sets up here, but we're going to use him as long relief. You guys are creatures of habit, man. With the way that you guys work, and like you just brought out that you have to, be in a certain mindset. Yeah. If they were to be like tomorrow, hey Bridger, we're going to have you as a long man, or we're going to have you just middle relief. I mean, how would obviously it would hit your psyche, but can you still build yourself up to be in that take no prisoners mindset, or is that, or you're going to get into a different mindset? Because I guess let me just start with that.
Yeah. I'd say like if I got told that, I'd hope I didn't throw the day before if I was in a long relief. But say I have plenty of rest, ready to do that. I think it's you have a chance to succeed, and I don't think there's really excuses that should be made in that situation, especially in the big leagues where you're getting paid a lot of money to do that. So I think I'd take the ball no matter what. But at the same time, like you said, creatures of habit, and it's kind of hard if you're in a one inning role and then, hey, we're going to have you long relief, or hey, you're a starter, hey, you're going to go to the bullpen, or vice versa, especially if it's not talked about beforehand. That can be tough as a pitcher, especially. But at the same time, if you can do that and then go out there and shove, that shows the manager of the organization, everybody, that you can do that. And that's something that's really liked. So it really just depends. Like, I'd say for me and a lot of the guys, like we've been talking about this recently, there's a thing called an adrenaline dump. So like as like a short burst reliever, like I am, you come in there in a big situation or for a save or for one inning and you kind of get out of that. That's kind of like an adrenaline dump. And it's a lot different than what a starter does. A starter, you're pacing yourself the whole game. So it kind of just depends. Like I said, if it was me, I'd take the ball and not make an excuse. But if it didn't go well, I'd probably be like, damn, I wish I didn't have to do that. But it is what it is. Like I said, if I go to the big leagues and they want me to do whatever, then I'll do it. But yeah, it's definitely hard though. Definitely not an easy thing to do, and not something a pitcher really wants to do. But like I said, take the ball and go pitch.
It's a good answer right there, because I know the adrenaline dump, whether you're throwing 11 pitches to get out of an inning or 40, you want to do your job.
100%.
How's the travel been so far for you? Getting used to that.
We started in Visalia, which is Fresno. I don't know if you guys know where that's at, but then
yeah. I was born like 45 minutes away from there.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Then we went to Modesto. That's been our only really long trip. Travel's fine, honestly. We take 2 buses, so it's not too crammed. And then on the road, you're at the hotel, you get meal money, and the hotel is usually pretty nice. So I honestly like travel just as much as I like being home, to be honest, because you get that meal money. It's pretty nice. But bus rides are fine. You only got to do it once every 2 weeks, so it's not like an everyday thing. But,
now, Bridger, are we lettuce wrapping our burgers, or are we going all out?
Lettuce wrapping?
Yeah, are we lettuce wrapping these burgers, eating healthy, or are we going full on Big Mac?
Lettuce wrapping for sure. This time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, you got it.
Tap your nose if you're lying. No, just kidding.
No, I cheat sometimes for sure, but I try to do good, but it's hard sometimes. Sometimes they give us like in and out and stuff, and it's like right after a game, and you just got to take down 2 of them.
Absolutely.
Just too hungry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I remember the $20 per diem, giving your clubby like $12. You're left with like $6 to $8 for dinner. And you're like, well, what am I supposed to do to be health conscious when all I've got is $6 to $8?
Yeah.
And
it's hard.
You have guys literally going to the gas station, at least you did, having to, go get what are those things called? Like, moon pies and little demi cakes, because like,
it's all you can afford.
I mean, that's what you got for food. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's a lot better than that nowadays. Obviously, they give us full meals and stuff. But I've heard stories about that stuff, even from some of the guys that are a lot older in the org. Obviously, probably a little different than when you were there, but still not very good. You got to scratch your way through. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, luckily now there's the minor league unions, and thank gosh.
100%.
$12,000 a year is not for the faint of heart, and I have no idea why it took them so long to finally let the minor leagues unionize, because that was crazy for so long. And I think about the good players that didn't get the opportunity to play minor league baseball because they just couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But I digress. That's a topic for another day.
It's a good topic.
It is. I mean, obviously you need support to get to that place. And I'm sure you're getting it as well. and that's a good thing. You got it from your teammates. And as far as your pitching coach is concerned, what's the difference you've seen from him? Obviously, mentality wise, or the way that he teaches you guys, opposed to maybe your other days of ball throughout your life.
You talking about Elmer, our pitching
Yes.
coach?
Yes.
Elmer's pretty laid back guy. He's got a lot of big league experience. Great guy. He kind of, I don't know, mentality wise, he kind of just goes with what Dave pretty much does, which is pretty hard nosed. But I don't know. He's pretty standard. I say he's a decent coach. Like just preaching attacking and just being ready. I think a lot of the guys, at least the college guys, have had the coaching in the past and all the different coaching. So there's not really much more to be said. But I think he works a lot more with like the younger Latin guys, that are still developing a lot more, and he's really good with them.
But does he emphasize one style of pitching as far as like being either aggressive in the zone or attacking the corners, opposed to other ways of doing things? And does he allow you to choose your pitches, or is that more coming
we
from
can we can choose our pitches for sure. Yeah, the catcher
Okay.
calls them, but you can shake. Yeah, he's not involved in that. I don't know. He's definitely like a in the zone type coach. I mean, you can coach that all you want, but like I said, like he can't go out there and pitch for us. So he preaches the right things, and like it's attacking the zone always. That's kind of the big thing with our org, and sometimes it doesn't work out, but they do everything they can to make that the case. So I love Elmer. I like him. He's a good coach, great guy, a lot of experience.
Okay.
So Cali has a lot of really fun baseball stadiums to play in.
Yeah.
Fortunately, a lot of the bad ones have been weeded out. I'm sure you've heard stories about High Desert, Stater Brothers Field. Have you?
I don't think I have. Where's it at?
Gosh, what town was that? It's near Victorville. I forgot the exact town it's in. Or I'm sure you've heard maybe about Bakersfield and playing
Yes.
at that field with, the benches that were made out of wood, and the home plate would face the sun, so the games can start till like 8 or 8:30.
Nice.
But what's been your favorite road stadium to play in?
Ooh, that's good. Favorite road stadium? Say I played in Visalia, Stockton, Modesto, obviously
We know it's not
Rancho,
Modesto.
Lake Elsinore. Not Modesto.
Yeah, I know it's not Modesto.
Yeah. Lake Elsinore was honestly pretty fun. I actually like Stockton, obviously another town that's not very good, but the stadium was actually pretty cool. Not pitcher friendly, but it was a nice stadium. I'd honestly say Lake Elsinore. I think that used to be a AAA stadium, right?
Yeah.
Lake
No,
Elsinore? Padres?
No, you're thinking of Fresno.
Fresno. I haven't played there yet. I heard that one's really nice. Someone said Lake Elsinore was too, but maybe
Yeah,
not.
Lake Elsinore was a long time ago. It
Long
was
time ago,
Angels.
got you.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay.
Lake.
Got you. Yeah, no, that place is pretty cool. It's kind of dug out next to the lake there, and there's like a hill in the background with some cool houses up there. So, yeah, I liked playing there. It was cool.
Yeah.
So how are you doing as far as like, your goals, your goals to get up to the next level? Are you seeing yourself getting closer? Because obviously, you're a closer now, you're a more high profile pitcher on the team. Is there any rumblings of, hey, if you hit these kind of goals, you could be promoted to the next level, that type of deal going on?
I haven't heard anything like that. I don't know. A lot of guys don't. I think it's just kind of, obviously if you perform, you're going to move up, and sometimes it doesn't work like that. And sometimes if you don't perform, you can still move up. If there's injuries, it's kind of all like out of your control for the most part. Obviously, the better you do, the better chance you have. But it's kind of weird how it works. I mean, you guys can see it with the promotions, and I don't know. I haven't been told much, but I know I'm probably, hopefully, pretty close. But like I said, I'm just controlling where I'm at right now. And if they want me here all year, if they want me somewhere else, then I'll just do my best where that's at. But yeah, as far as my goals, I had a little bit of a rough patch, but lately and the beginning of the season, they've both been really good. So kind of just I've been attacking the zone a lot better lately, and I'm happy with what I'm doing right now, and I love the role I'm in for sure. That's kind of what I like. So, and I think if I make it to the bigs, that's kind of what my role is going to be. Maybe not closer, but like the 1 inning, like hold type guy. So, yeah, I'm liking that. And then, like I said, if they want me to move up. If they don't, I'm just gonna stay right here. Because if you start thinking about, like I learned from some of the older guys, like if you start thinking about that stuff too much, like, oh, why am I not getting promoted? Or, oh, I just want to get promoted. So if I do bad, I'm gonna be pissed. Like you can't control it. So there's no reason to really think about it too much.
Yeah, and being a team guy is super important too, right? If the
Yeah.
guy to your left or the guy to your right's getting promoted, you
Yeah.
got to celebrate that kind of stuff.
100%.
That's another thing the manager sees too, right? And the
Mhm.
organization sees, like, hey, man, this is a rah-rah type of guy. He's willing to do everything for us. If we ask him to catch for us today, he's going to do it. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff's good. Now, you alluded to it. This was going to be one of the questions I asked near the end, but you've only given up 2 runs as of right now in May. Something's clicking. What is it exactly? Is it just attacking guys? Is that what you're, what's clicking for you right now?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, for the most part, my velo's been really good lately too. So, I don't know, just kind of, we had our pitching coordinator, Dom Chidi, came in a couple weeks, or last week actually, 1 or 2 weeks ago. And he kind of talked to me a lot about the mental side of it. And just, I don't know, kind of like there's a lot of stuff you can't control, especially at the lower levels. The defensive guys are still developing, and there's a lot of misplays and stuff like that. And catchers are developing. We're still developing. It's low A. So a lot of stuff you can't control. And if you just get too caught up in, that earned run, shouldn't have scored or whatever, blah, 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 screw me, the catcher screwed me, then it kind of just gets in the way. And kind of just bouncing back from those rougher outings, I'd say. And I had one bad one in Modesto, my only really bad one this year. That was bad. And the next day I was kind of doing dry reps and throwing a touch and feel, and they're just saying nothing's wrong. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. Don't try to fix something, that's not broken, basically. Because pitching, you can have your best stuff and they can still hit it one day, and the next day you can have bad stuff and they're not going to hit it. It's just how it is, man. So kind of just the mental side has been really good for me. And like I said, attacking, I think the last 2 weeks I had one walk and it was a 9-pitch AB. So that's always kind of been the thing with me. I believe my stuff is good enough to make it for sure. I just got to show that I can be in the zone consistently, and then I should have a lot of success. And that's kind of what's been happening lately.
Good mentality.
Good. Yeah, it is a good mentality because you got to set up your best pitches. So if you got that setup pitch working, I'm not going to give your what is it called, your scouting report, but if you set up your
everyone
best
knows
pitch,
it.
yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're spotting your fastball and you can set up the breaking, all that stuff like that. My question to you, with that mindset, being a closer, and you said you got to get in that role, you got to get in that, number one, it's a 2-part question. How do you work yourself up to come out for that 9th inning or 8th inning, get that 4-out save? And then the B part of the question, do you have the mentality of, hey, they got a guy at first, we're up a couple runs, I'm not even worried about that dude? Or are you still checking on him when you're in the?
That's a good question. Yeah. As far as the first one goes, it depends on the game. Like I said earlier in the year, we didn't have any roles yet or anything, so they were just throwing everybody for 2 innings or 2+. And the only time I really struggled this year was in that 2nd or 3rd inning where I kind of was just, I wouldn't say out of gas, just maybe losing focus, being that I've closed in college, and that's kind of what I'm comfortable with. But yeah, right now being the closer, they say, hey, you're in, this week they said yesterday when I closed the game, the day before I did throw, so they're like, hey, you got the 9th today and that's it if we win. I was like, okay. So probably in the dugout for 4 innings, get ready, drink some beetroot and some pre-workout in the 6th. And then obviously watch how the game plays out. You always got to watch how the hitters are swinging it that day, especially at this level where the lineups change so much. Sometimes guys are on, sometimes they're not. So paying attention to that closely. And it also depends on the profile of the pitchers in front of you. If I'm not going to judge a guy's swings if, a lefty's throwing or something like that with completely different stuff than me or anything like that. So, and then depending on the game, like you said, it could be a 4-out save. So maybe in the 7th, I'm starting to get loose, and then mentally just preparing the whole game, you're kind of just getting ready. And I think the adrenaline of the ninth is really good for me, and I love that, and I feed off that. So I'm really comfortable doing that, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, and do you check
Second part, sorry.
Yeah.
What was the second part?
Do you
The
check?
runner?
Are you a guy that like with a 2-3 run lead? Are you checking
Yeah.
that runner at first, or you're more like, hey man, I don't give a shit, take second base?
It's hard because at this level, like, as much as I say I don't care about, moving up, like, you don't want your runs to score, right? So,
True.
like, obviously, if it's the ninth and it's a close game, I'm gonna like whatever for the team to win is what I want to do. But I still don't want that runner first to score, And
Okay.
that answer might be different if I'm a established guy in the big leagues where it doesn't really matter if that run scores. But I mean, here you got to do everything you can to put up the best looking stats you can. So,
Of course. Yeah, you're not Kenley Jansen balking Ohtani over to third
exactly.
base.
Yeah, like I would never be able to do that, never. So, but that's like him, being a veteran, trusting himself, and he's not comfortable pitching with a runner on second, and that's exactly what you got to do. So, but like I said, once again, like if we want to play back at first, 1 out, runner first, and he's gonna take the bag, I'm not gonna be mad about it or anything, and then he scores on some BS, like that's what it is, and we still win, I'll be happy. But if I can do something to not let him score, then I'm probably gonna do that.
That's the right answer. That is exactly the right answer.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you this. So was you closing like a formal conversation that took place? Did they call you in? Did they ask? Or, and even now, is it kind of an established role? Like the guys look at you as, okay, well, that's our closer? Or is it all just fluid? Every day is different?
I'd say now it kind of is, and that's kind of how the guys look at me, I'd say. But that didn't really start till the beginning of last week, honestly. Like I said, I was being used in high leverage all year, but like we didn't. First off, we haven't really had too many games to close, so that's been hard. And then, like I said in the beginning of the year, like the first 4 weeks, we were just everyone. There was no rules, and everyone was just throwing like it's your day to throw. You have your 2 days off, then you throw again. So everyone threw twice a week, 2 innings, whatever. That's kind of how it was, especially since the starters weren't going too deep at that point in the season because it was the beginning. And then once like that happened, then it kind of started going into roles where, you learn what you're doing. And last week I threw 4 times and got 3 saves. So I think that's what they wanted from me. And then this week I closed out 2 more or 1 more. The other one I had to get a touch on Friday because I hadn't pitched since last Sunday. So. But yesterday I closed it out. So I think that's what the role is now. And as far as the conversation goes, there wasn't a formal conversation, but like they tell me like, hey, you got the 9 today, like, and that's kind of like we know what it is. So I don't think it really needs to be too formal, like if I'm doing it every time. So it's kind of easy to figure it out.
Are you able to stay upbeat though? Like say for instance, you do go like a few games. It's like a 6-game series, and maybe the first 4 haven't gone your way. It's game 5, and they're like, "Man, we need to give Bridger some work." And you're down 4-1, but you're pitching the top half of the 9th inning. Are you able to keep that same like? Is your mindset like, "Man, I'm gonna burn through these 3 guys"? Like are you already envisioning yourself getting that not so save?
Yeah, and this is a great question because I would say a little while ago, like it was pretty hard for me to do that. And this is a really common question for big league closers too, because that happens a lot. Like for example, this series against Rancho, the first 3 games we weren't close to winning, and then on Friday, I think it was 7-2 or something like that. And then they're like, "You need a touch tonight," and they told me that pregame. They said, "You're going in the 8th, and if we're winning, you'll throw the 9th." So I knew I was getting a touch, and then I went in there, and like I said, once again, in the stat book, like it all looks the same. So if I have to throw down 20-0 in the 9th when it doesn't matter at all, I'm still going to try to have the same mindset. Obviously, you're not going to be as dialed in and locked in and fired up. So that can be hard. But I'd say lately I've had to do that a few times, and I've done good with it. So just trying my best to keep that mindset, but it is very hard. And you see a lot of closers in the big leagues, even in a tie game, they struggle more than they do with a lead. And I kind of had that a little bit last year in college. It's kind of hard. So
I played single A, dude, like years ago, and man, like I seen it with some of the guys that were coming from college, had prior success, it is, like you said earlier in the interview, completely mental. And if you don't have the right mentality, like I like your answers, because a lot of guys I played with, if they weren't in their role, if they weren't comfortable, they had a hard time finding their stuff and sometimes couldn't pitch to their potential.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It can be hard sometimes. And like I said earlier on in the year, when I was going out for longer relief outings, going up into 30, maybe 40 pitches, I struggled a little bit. I think it was more mental than it was physical, honestly. So, and yeah, I've played with guys like that too, that, they can struggle in that role it's kind of the same thing as like I said earlier, starters going to relievers, or, vice versa with a spot start, like especially in college with midweeks, that happens a lot. So you can really see the guys that can handle it and the guys that can't. And that's like as much as it's understandable to like have a hard time handling it, the coaches and everybody do see that. And if a guy can't do it, it's a really big deal. So got to do your best with that.
All right. So I got 2 more questions. One of them will be pretty quick. I guess they both will. So Major League Baseball jerseys and stuff don't matter as much, right? Like the fans make a big show of it, but, in the majors, the Yankees are always going to be the Yankees. The Dodgers are always going to be the Dodgers. You know what I mean? There's just some traditional jerseys. But in the minor leagues, these teams get a little more fun and creative with logos, and sometimes they'll have special names. So with that being said, personally, I think the Storm have the coolest logo in the Cal League. But I believe the 66ers have some of the coolest jerseys in the Cal League. In your opinion, who has the coolest logo in the Cal League, and who has the coolest jerseys?
Man, I love the name, the Storm. That's a great name. I like the Modesto Nuts logo is pretty funny because it's like a nut with like a smirk. It's like that, like smirking at you, and they got it all over the stadium. That's pretty awesome. I don't know if I can even remember any other logos, but I think all the names are pretty cool.
Lame. That's just
ports
the S
lame.
with the anchor.
Yep. Quakes is kind of cool because it's like an earthquake, but still kind of average. I like ours though. I like our jerseys are the baby blue color is really good. So I think when we wear those, it's pretty awesome. Especially having blue eyes, it's pretty nice. And then we wear a bunch of alternate ones that I think are pretty cool. We have like a Riverside jersey. We wore the Kukui's jersey a couple weeks ago. Those are all pretty cool. And then our white jerseys are nice too.
Yeah, I like the oil on the top of the numbers. I said, the 66ers have a very, very cool jersey. And the hat's cool too. I'm a fan of the hat.
I love the hat. Yes.
But I definitely think the Trash Pandas are definitely the best logo in minor league baseball.
I agree with that. It's a great brand.
Question. Oh yeah, it absolutely is. One question, last one for me, Bridger, is they did mention Gooby on the broadcast about a week or so ago. He said that some of the 66ers were invited up to throw some live pitching to a couple of players like Taylor Ward. Were you invited, or was that? That
is true. I don't know how they knew about that, but that was a couple of the younger Latin guys. They decided to go throw. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if they asked you or not. Yeah, because he was making a big deal. Like Gooby was like, "Hey, Taylor Ward took some live batting practice from some of the 66ers." So I was like, "Oh, okay, pretty interesting."
Yeah. No, it's not. It's just really whoever was able to throw that day is kind of how that works. So it's not anything deeper than that. They don't care who it is. As long they want a guy that throws strike. Both the guys they called. Actually, they called one guy from the ACL and one from us, and they're strike throwers. So just to get the big league guys to see some stuff. So I don't know if them facing me would be a good idea. They want to get their confidence up.
You're like, Taylor, you're going down, buddy.
Yeah. I would give it my best shot, no doubt.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
I like that.
One question that just popped in my mind. How was fall ball with the Angels? How was it meeting some of those guys like, the Hall of Famer Vladimir Guerrero Sr.?
Yes, no, that was awesome. I went to instructional league, so that was 4 weeks in October. It was awesome. Yeah, Vlad's pretty cool dude. I didn't talk to him one-on-one, but he's pretty funny. We had some other guys there. Jared Weaver was there. Urban Santana, great guy. We had Pujols talk to us in spring training. That was pretty cool this year. He's going to be a great manager one day. A funny story Vlad told what they were talking about. They were going through, like, we had some other guys there. I can't think of their names. I think Tim Salmon was there, but they were talking about, like, their approaches and what pitches they sat on and blah, blah, blah. And, we had Manny Ramirez there for a little bit too.
Oh, that's right,
Oh
man.
yeah, because
we
his son's in
drafted
the
his son.
organization.
Yeah. So he was really cool.
That's
And
like
they were talking.
a lot of cast of characters right there.
Yeah. Yes. No, it was awesome. They would talk within each other and stuff. Yeah. But one of the things that was cool, I thought, from Vladdy was, like, they'd talk to Manny, they'd talk to other people, and they like talk about what pitches they sit on and how most hitters do that, you know. And they asked Vladdy about it, and he's like, "I just see the ball, hit the ball." It's pretty funny. It's just like crazy talent to be able to do that, you know. And yeah, I thought that was a great story. But
yeah, he had the weirdest eye ever. I mean, some of those pitches were just insane. You know what I mean? You couldn't throw him anything, literally. You could bounce the ball, he was still going to hit it.
Yeah, he actually hit one that was bounced in Baltimore to the wall.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that video. Pretty awesome.
What a talent.
So last question I have for you. We asked you this last time. I want to ask you this again now that you've got some some professional experience under your belt. Why is Bridger Holmes going to make it to the major leagues?
I don't know. I think the answer is the same as last time. I probably said, competitiveness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think now I thought coming in that I knew a lot, but, like, now being in it, it's only been not even a year yet either. Like, I've learned so much about how everything works and how to be a pro and how to prep every day, how to make yourself ready. And just in comparison to myself, to some of the other guys and our org, other orgs, like, I think I'm doing the right stuff and preparing myself the best. And like I said, I think I have an edge that a lot of people don't have, and especially in those clutch situations. And obviously I want to talk about stuff, but I think my stuff's good enough. And, you know, everyone thinks that, but I'm fully confident in that. And like I said, just trusting the process, and might take time, might not. Just whenever it happens, hopefully I'll be ready.
There you go. I'm hoping a lot of people get to hear this interview because you've got a good head on your shoulders, and
Appreciate it.
I'm definitely excited to see what you've got. I mean, I can already tell you're, as the kids say, you got that dog in you just because of your mentality. So, you know, and I'm sure you describe yourself as the same. So,
yeah, I would like to think that. Yes, I mean it's hard, man, to go out there in the ninth, man. It's hard. You got to have that dog to some extent, for sure.
You don't take this the wrong way, but you know exactly what I mean because you play. You know, we've all played baseball here. You got to be a certain kind of stupid and crazy to be a closer. You just have to be out there. You got to have that ability to, hey, bases loaded, no outs. This is what I live for.
Yeah.
You got to have that, you know, that dog in you to be a closer. You can't just go up there and throw 100 miles an hour and be a closer. You have to have a winning mentality.
100%. Yeah, there's plenty of guys that can throw hard, but if you put them in that situation, it's like it's the pregame EDM music, the routine, all of it. You got to have it.
The pregame EDM, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the best part.
I will say this too, man. Like, you know, we've talked with Ben Joyce when he got drafted and he made it to the majors, and he was saying, you know, he had that moxie. You could tell, and you know, Bridger, we hope you're at the same, because right now that it seems like you got the same moxie, you got the same kind of mentality that he has, and you know, we think that you're going to make it here soon, you know, as you climb the ladder, you know, and we're very encouraged to see your numbers are good. You're in that closing spot, man, and just best of luck from the HITI Network and all the Angel fans, because we'd love to see the young players make it from draft day onward, because it's one thing to get another organizational talent or maybe you know, you trade for somebody like that, but when you can see your own homegrown guys come in there, give it their all, learn from their mistakes and grow. I mean, dude, you'll see it, and one day the fans will give you that reaction that's unlike just a veteran coming in.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you. That means a lot. I agree, though. It's really hard nowadays to debut with the organization you got drafted by, you know, and if that happens, if it doesn't, that'll be cool. But like you said, it's cool to see when, as a fan myself, you know, like growing up, like it's cool to see when you draft a guy, he goes all the way through and then makes it up.
Absolutely.
All right. Where can our followers find you if they'd like to?
On what social media?
Yeah.
Anywhere?
Yeah.
Anywhere, honestly. Instagram probably is the main place.
And
Bridger.Holmes9 is the Instagram. So if you guys want to follow me.
there you go. Well, continue success, my man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me. I love being on here.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And on behalf of all of us here at Halos in the Infield, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.
Lonestar